The old people ordered that the dancing should stop at 10 in the evening. However, it was almost midnight before the carriages came filling up the departed guests, while the girls who were staying were promptly herded upstairs to the bedroom. The young men gathered around to wish them a good night. The boy said, "Good night, señorita." "Thank you," the girl responded. "But the night is still young," the other boy exclaimed. "But if the night is as old as you, don't bother," says the other girl. Those men proclaimed themselves disconsolate, but straightway go off to finish the punch and brandy, though they were quite drunk already. They were simply bursting with wild spirits of merriment, arrogance, and audacity, for they were young bucks, newly arrived from Europe. The ball had been held in their honor. They waltzed, bragged, and swaggered all night. They were in no mood to sleep yet. No.
Ay, caramba. Not on this moist tropic eve. Not on this mystic gray eve. With the night still young, and so seductive that it was madness not to go for it.
And serenade the neighbors.
And soon the passing, and gather the butterflies. Cheers!
Cheers!
Cheers! Yep.
With those coats, capes, and canes, arose a desire among the women upstairs in the bedroom, giggling and screaming on the windows. But soon they were sighing amorously over those young men bawling below. Girls admired them because of their handsome apparel, proud flashing eyes, and their elegant moustaches, so black and vivid in the moonlight that the girls were quite ravished with love. Until old Anastasia plucked them off by the ear, or the pigtail, and chased them off to bed. While from the street came the clackety-clack of the watchman's boots on the cobble, and the clang-clang of his lantern against his knees, and the mighty roll of his voices booming the night.
Of the night, and the witches were abroad in the night, for it was a night of divination, a night of lovers, and those who cared might peer into a mirror and would be there to behold the face of whoever they were fated to marry.
Enough, Tito. We want to sleep. Go scare the boys instead, you old witch. He's not a witch. He's a maga. He's born on Christmas Eve.
Saint Chito, virgin and minor.
Huh? Impossible. He has conquered 7 wives. Are you a virgin, Tito?
No, but I am 7 times a martyr because of you girls.
That's her prophecy. That's her prophecy. Whom I will marry. Old witch will come and tell.
In the mirror if you're not afraid.
I'm not afraid. I'll go. And my mother will hear and will come here and pinch us. Abuela, lie down. And you, Chito, I command you to shut your mouth and go away.
Your mother told me to stay here all night, grand lady.
I will not lie down. Tell her.
You must take a candle, go into a room that is dark and has a mirror in it. You must be alone in the room, go up to the mirror, close your eyes and say, "Mirror, mirror, show to me him whose woman I will be." If all goes right, just above your left shoulder will appear the face of the man you will marry.
And what if all does not go right?
Ah, then the Lord may have mercy on you,
Why?
because you may see the devil.
But what nonsense! It's the year 2010. There are no devils anymore. But where could I go? Ah, yes, I know. Down to the sala. No one is there now. No, Gueda. No, it's a mortal sin. You will see the devil. I don't care. I'm not afraid.
Oh, you wicked girl, you mad girl.
If you do not come down, if you do not come to bed, Agueda, I will call my mother. And if you do, I'll tell her who came to visit you last March at the convent. Give me the candle. I go.
Ageda was already tiptoeing across the hall, her bare feet and her dark hair falling down her shoulders and streaming in the wind as she fled down the stairs. The lighted candle sputtered on one hand, while the other she pulled up her white gown from her ankles. She paused breathless in the doorway to the sala and her heart failed her. She tried to imagine a room full of laughter, her happy place, a room alive, but it was a dark den. A weird cavern of windows had been closed, and the furniture stacked up against the walls. She crossed herself and stepped inside. The mirror hung before her, an old antique mirror. She saw herself approaching fearfully like a white ghost. She got close and lifted the candelabra with her chin, and the dagged mask bloomed into her living face. She closed her eyes, whispered the incantation. When she finished, terror took a hold of her, and she was unable to move, unable to open her eyes. She would stand there forever, enchanted. But she heard a step behind her and smothered a giggle, and instantly opened her eyes.
Mirror, mirror, show to me him whose woman I will be.
Charms like yours have no need for conviction.
Let me pass.
But I remembered you. You're Agueda, whom I left a mere infant, and now I have come to discover tremendous beauty.
Let
We
me
have-
pass.
We have danced the waltz, but you would not give me the polka.
No, let me pass.
I want to dance the polka with you.
Go to the devil.
Oh, what a temper, my Sarah.
I am not your Serana.
Who's that? Is it someone I know? Someone I have previously offended? Because you treat me and my friends like mortal enemies.
And why not? How I detest you, you pompous young men. You go to Europe and you come back elegant lords. And we poor girls, we're too lame to please you. We have no grace like the Parisians, no fire like the civilians, and no salt. No salt. No salt. Oh, you weary me. How you bore me, you prestigious men.
Come, come. How do you know about it?
I was not admiring myself, sir.
Oh, you were admiring the moon, perhaps. Oh, do not cry. Please forgive me. Do not cry. Oh, what a brief time. I was drunk. I was drunk. And asleep. Oh, no, I said.
Let me go.
No, say you forgive me first. Say you forgive me, Alfredo.
Unconscious of May night, till on his way down the hall, chancing to glance into the sala, he stopped and shuddered. His blood ran cold, for he had seen a face in the mirror. There a ghostly candlelight face with eyes closed and lips moving. A face that he suddenly felt he had been there before, though it was very full minutes before the lost memory came tiding back, so overflooding the actual moment and so swiftly washing away the past hours and days and months and years that he was suddenly young again. He was a gay young back again. Lately, came from Europe, he had been dancing all night. He was very drunk. He stepped into to the doorway. He saw a face in the dark. He called out, and lad standing before the mirror, and almost dropped his candle. But looking around and seeing the old man, laughed out with relief and came running.
Grandpa, you frightened me.
So it was you, you young bandit. And what is all this? What are you doing this middle of the hour?
No, it's nothing, Grandpa, really.
Yes, yes you are, great senor. And I'm delighted to make your acquaintance. But if I break this cane in your head, better believe it, better be someone else, sir.
But the boys in the school said that I would see my wife in this mirror.
What wife?
My wife, Grandpa.
Here. And let's talk this over. to see your wife, okay? Want to see her in advance, okay? But just so you know, that wicked games and those wicked boys, they are in danger of seeing horrors.
Well, the boys did say that I might see the witch instead.
Exactly! The witch. They are horrible. They will torture you. They will eat your heart.
Come on, Grandpa. It's already the 1980s. There are no more witches.
Would you believe that I have seen a witch myself?
Really? Where?
Right here, right in this room. She was the most beautiful creature I have ever seen. Her eyes are like yours, but her hair are like black waters, and her shoulders were bare. She was enchanting. I should have known. I should have known then the dark and fatal creature she was.
What a horrid mirror this is, Grandpa.
What makes you say that, hey?
Well, you saw this witch in it, and Mama once told me that Grandma saw the devil in it. Was it awfully scary that Grandma died?
Then the day started. For a moment he had forgotten that she was dead, that she had perished, the poor Agueda. They were at peace at last, the two of them, her tired body at rest, her broken body set free at last from the brutal pranks of the earth, from the trap of May night, from the snare of summer, from the terrible silver nets of the moon. She had been a mere heap of white hair and bones in the end, a whimpering withered consumptive lashing out with her cruel tongue, her eyes like live coals, her face like ashes. Now, nothing save a name on a stone, save a stone in a graveyard. Nothing was left of the young girl who had flamed so vividly in a mirror, one wild May day midnight long ago. And remembering how she had sobbed so piteously, remembering how she had beaten his hand and fled, how he had sung aloud in the dark room and surprised his heart in the instant of falling in love. Such a grief tore up his throat and eyes that he felt ashamed before the boy. He pushed the boy away, stood up, and looked up. Looked out upon the middle shadows of the foul street, where a couple of street lamps flickered and a last carriage was rattling away upon the cobbles. The blind black houses muttered hush, hush, their tiled roofs looming like sinister chessboards against a wild sky murky with clouds, save where an evil old moon prowled about in a corner, or where a murderous wind wailed, whistling and whining, smelling now of the sea and now of the summer of orchards, and wafting unbearable the widow. The bowed old man, sobbing so bitterly at the window, the tears streaming down his cheek, and the wind in his hair, and one hand pressed on his mouth, while from up the street came the clockery clock of the watchman's boots on the cobbles, and the clang of his lantern against his